Ubisoft made a big change at the top of their Star Wars Outlaws game. They replaced creative director Julian Garrity with Drew Reckner, who previously worked on the game's Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. I wrote this up over at thatparkplace.com. You can find the link in the description below. You can also find a link to become a member of the channel and help support me here in what I am doing. This is coming from Ubisoft in their first dev update for Star Wars Outlaws. They announced that Reckner is now the game's creative director and that the company has been, quote, listening to, gathering, and actioning players' feedback. And we see there are key areas where we can elevate the game experience to better meet your expectations. Reckner has been with Ubisoft's massive entertainment for nearly 11 years and has been a creative director at the company since January 2024, according to his LinkedIn. He was previously the associate game director on Massive's Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. He echoed the comments from Ubisoft in a message addressed to gamers saying, I also want to take the time to say that we hear not only your positive feedback, but your constructive feedback as well. Thank you for sharing with us and helping us make the game even better. From there, he shared his vision for the game moving forward, at least the three areas or the three priorities that he is having the Star Wars Outlaws team look at moving forward. He says the first key area of improvement to the game is combat, where we see a real opportunity to add more depth and excitement to the experience, further rewarding your tactics and precision. Our second key area is stealth, which is not only about improving the readability and consistency of enemy detection, but also providing choice in how you want to approach each encounter. Finally, our third key area of focus is centered around the character controls, which means improving the reliability of cover, increasing the responsiveness of climbing and crouching, and generally improving the consistency of the controls overall. So I think these three priorities indicate that this game was an absolute failure when it actually came to gameplay. I mean, you're literally talking about combat in a Star Wars game that you need to fundamentally improve the combat of your game. You would have thought that is something you would have realized when you were developing the game, not after you released it, months after you released it. And the second one is the stealth. Again, it looks like this is a big focus in the game. You think you would have seen the defects previously before you released it. And then character controls. Like, these are big things. Like, this is a massive admission that they released an extremely poor quality game back at the end of August. That's what this reads to me. Huge, huge admission that they released something that should not have been released. They should have delayed this game, and they should have at least tried to make at least some improvements to it. I don't think any of this stuff matters at the end of the day, right? I don't think this is going to make a difference. This is not a Cyberpunk 2077 case where they're going to pull the game, make massive adjustments to it, and get people back into it. That is not the case. I mean, we're looking at Star Wars here. This is an extremely damaged brand that has been damaged outside of Ubisoft, been damaged by Disney. And the core gameplay, the core story, the core character, it's just not interesting. I don't think really pulls people in. It is not Cyberpunk 2077. So they can make all of these changes, but I don't think it's going to significantly impact the sales of this game. I think this is a massive mistake by Ubisoft to be even doing this. They should be cutting their losses. They should be learning from BioWare, cut their losses. Don't be making any improvements. Stop investing in this game and move on. Because I just don't see how they are going to be making any of these costs back unless they're going to be doing some massive write-offs or something like that, doing some tax shenanigans. And that's the only way they'll be able to like make any of this back. But I mean, from a basic common sense standpoint, I just do not see how, even if they vastly improve all of these things, that people are going to start coming out to buy this game in droves. Just do not see that happening. Nevertheless, Reckner went on and says, you can expect to see more details about how we will be celebrating and embracing player choice more than ever before, whether it's sneaking through encounters, going in blasters blazing, or everything in between. He added, we will provide more specific details about the changes to these areas and more in the upcoming weeks as we provide further updates to you. All of this will culminate in the release of Title Update 1.4, which will release on November 21st alongside the Steam launch and first story pack, Star Wars Outlaws Wildcard. So they're going to have this in like 3 weeks, right? They're making all these big changes apparently in 3 weeks. don't see this happening. It's not going to be that big of an improvement. I just don't think they have the time to do that. Anyways, what is interesting is we did see Ubisoft basically say that this game underperformed sales expectations despite achieving solid reviews. They made that admission in their first half 2024-2025 earnings figures report. It also came in the wake of Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot completely evading a question on the state of Outlaws' sales curve. He was asked during the company's earnings conference call by an investor from BMO. On Star Wars Outlaws, obviously off to a slower start than you guys wanted. Can you provide a little color into the sales curve there more recently? Have you guys started to see things pick up? Can you talk about any discounting you might be doing or strategies for discounting into the holiday period? Would be helpful. And this is how he responded. On Outlaws, what we can say is that the 3 title updates that we've delivered at the same time, we've been observing substantial positive community sentiment improvement. He's been talking about this positive community sentiment for a long time. It clearly does not translate into actual sales, given the fact that they are admitting that they underperformed sales, right? So I don't know why he continues to use that line when it means absolutely nothing. Anyways, he's still using it. The biggest update is still to come by November 21st, and it will come on the same day as the first big story pack and the launch for Steam. So we are putting ourselves in a position to have a must-play game that should address a mainstream audience for the busy season, also to be a long-term seller. So they think that this is going to go bonkers on PC, is what I'm guessing when it releases to Steam. I just don't see it. I don't see it. This game is definitely not going to do what Dragon Age Veilguard did, which was just below 90,000. I think this game is going to be sub 20. We'll be lucky if it does Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League numbers, which was 13,000. Like, I just don't see it going that big. I think Star Wars is damaged. There's no interest in this game. We look at the Twitch stats, which we'll look at here in a little bit. No one is playing this game anymore. No one's streaming this game. No one is watching people stream this game. It's just really bad. Anyways, Guillemot continues saying it is great quality, and the team wanted to make sure that we will remove a few frictions and then implement some gameplay mechanics that will certainly delight the players. Yes, we will be planning some promotional support throughout the busy season, he later answered. And then obviously zero mention of the game sales curve whatsoever. Completely just punted on that question. Didn't even answer it at all. We do have a rumor that the game sold around 1 million copies. That came from Insider Gaming. They says we have secured a current sales figure from sources close to the game. At the time of writing, Star Wars Outlaws has just ticked over 1 million sales worldwide. That was about a month after it released. So I think that was at the end of September. Obviously, we're now in the beginning of November. So it's been over a month now. So, and I think it's been flat, completely flat. I mean, the game fell off True Trophies top 40 most popular PlayStation games chart. It fell off True Achievements top 40 Xbox gameplay chart. And you look at this data here from Twitch Tracker, you can see that the average, it was only streamed by an average of 32 channels in September, down from its average of 194 in August. Most recently, the average channel count has declined to 17. Along with the drop in channels, viewership has also plummeted. It went from an average of 8,468 viewers to just 321. If you look at the peaks, it hit a peak viewership of 117,554 on August 25th. It has completely fallen off a cliff with peak viewership in October only hitting 746 viewers. The peak number of channels streaming the game peaked in July with 1,221. I'm not sure what that, maybe people were streaming like, I think people probably were streaming the gameplay stuff that they got. People were watching that potentially because the game, like I said, didn't come out till August. But that has also fallen off a cliff in October to just 37. So no one's playing this game. No one's watching people play this game. No one's streaming this game. And I just don't see that turning around when they decide to release it to Steam. I mean, you might see a slight bump, but I just don't think that you're going to see any significant bump. I mean, it's going to look like the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League bumps, right? When they release their new seasons, where it's basically like they had a little short peak with the Joker one, and then every subsequent release for that game has zero effect on the player count. And I just think that's kind of what Ubisoft is going to see here with Outlaws when they release it to Steam. It's going to be that little short bump at the very beginning, and then it's just going to be flat the rest of the time. I mean, do not see this release to Steam, all of these changes making any difference in this game. I think people have already written it off. They have their opinions of it. And no matter what changes they make to it, it's not really going to move the needle whatsoever. this is not Cyberpunk 2077. But let me know what you guys make of them replacing Julian Garrity as the creative director, and then basically announcing all of these like significant gameplay changes that they're going to be releasing on November 21st, which is a tacit admission that they released a product that was unfinished, and they should never have done that in the first place. And I think that reflects on the company's attitude towards gamers. I think it reflects on their attitude on how they are as a company, that they would release something like that. I think that is despicable. I don't think that is a company that takes itself seriously. And it is clearly a company that I think is all about trying to deceive people, because they made it clear in previous calls. Yves Guillemot was like, this game has gone gold. We're not changing any of it, when they were even asked about all of the technical issues, the graphical issues that people were complaining about when we saw kind of the first footage during that IGN preview that they released, and it looked absolutely terrible. Yet they doubled down on it, and now they're finally admitting, after their sales were completely trash, that they are doing this. Well, but it's going to take a lot more than this, I think, to kind of reverse the brand damage that they have done to themselves. And maybe they'll be able to get it done. We'll see. But at this point in time, I don't trust Ubisoft. I don't really think that they can get it done until they start actually removing a lot of these DEI initiatives, these DEI policies from their company. And then they actually get focused back on merit and quality, which they clearly are not focused on right now, which this change, I think, shows they aren't. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, and to always, always speak the truth.